Now at 6, Joplin schools become the latest district to cancel classes. Plus, another area school district is staying open. We'll hear from Carl Junction officials on their decision. And the U.S. Supreme Court rules against President Biden's vaccine mandate on large companies. We have reaction from area attorneys general.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin School District becomes the latest area district to cancel classes tomorrow. This is KOAM News at 6. The district sent out messages to parents today letting them know classes are canceled tomorrow so the school buildings can be deep cleaned. Officials say the classes will be made up on May 25th. A number of area districts have either canceled classes or reverted to remote learning this week. You can find an updated list at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, while a lot of districts are halting in-person learning, some schools are still in session. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with one of those districts and has more.
Only a small number of districts in our area are still in session Friday, as so many others have canceled classes. But it's not always because of a COVID outbreak within the districts themselves. It's a staffing shortage from teachers and other staff doing the right thing and staying home when they're not feeling well. The Carl Junction R1 district is one of the few still staffed enough to hold classes.
We seem to be holding our own in that area. We are down a few staff members, but again, it's not out of normal for this time of year.
CJ Superintendent Dr. Phil Cook says they look at a number of factors to determine whether or not they'll cancel classes. One of those is attendance numbers. Cook says the district plan is if they drop below 80%, they'll cancel.
And again, 80 is an arbitrary number. It's more just what do you feel in your gut, and what you feel in your heart is the right thing for the safety of our kids.
Right now, Cook says they're just below 90% attendance, and they're watching it closely. While they're still open, they are facing some staffing shortages. Cook says the most impacted building is the K through first grade building.
Our other buildings have been helping out, sending some folks over to help cover where needed, and it's kind of a team effort. And we're all putting in where we need to and helping out and keep our doors open for our kids to come to school.
Cook says more than 70% of the staff is vaccinated, and that, coupled in with cleaning, is keeping COVID numbers low in the district. When asked if the district has been facing pressure from the community with other districts closing, Cook says he hasn't heard any negative feedback.
I hope that they have some trust in us and that we have a track record of making decisions based upon, like I said, common sense, what's good for our kids and what's good for our community safety.
In Carl Junction, Chris Warner, KOAM News. Okay.
Again, Carl Junction is still holding classes tomorrow. Other districts that have canceled say they plan to return to class on Tuesday following the upcoming holiday on Monday. Missouri Southern is temporarily changing its masking guidance. The university is requiring masks to be worn in classrooms, meetings where social distancing is not possible, the Wilcoxon Health Center, and the Lion Cub Academy. Everywhere else, the school says masking is optional. Officials say the changes are due to a rise in area COVID cases. No word on how long the new guidance will last. The weather pretty nice for January. Doug Heddy.
Yeah, you really couldn't beat today. Temperatures into lower 60s. We had plenty of sunshine, a little breezy out there, but it felt fantastic. And it still looks pretty good for us right now. Pretty much clear skies. Clouds are starting to increase back to our north and to our west. Here's our next little storm system, which will start to affect us here in about 28 hours or so, giving us moderate snow by the time we head into Saturday. So we need to really watch this system as we head into the weekend. Now, until then, we look okay. Most of us 50 to about 53 degrees as we go through the evening hours. We'll slide back through the 50s, 40s, into the 30s. I think most of us about 36 or 37 degrees for an overnight low. Of course, we're going to break down our snow chances and how much here in just a bit.
See you then. The U.S. Supreme Court has stopped the Biden administration from enforcing a vaccine requirement for large businesses. The mandate required employees of businesses with more than 100 workers to be vaccinated or undergo weekly testing and wear a mask on the job. But the High Court today ruled that the White House overstepped its authority with the mandate, which would have affected more than 80 million Americans. However, the court is still allowing the mandate for most healthcare workers in the U.S. In response to the ruling, the attorneys general of Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma released statements. Missouri AG Eric Schmidt's statement reads in part, Missouri was the first state to file suit against the OSHA private employer mandate, and I'm proud to have delivered this critical decision for Missourians and Americans, and to hand the Biden administration its biggest loss to date. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt says in part, the disappointing decision to uphold for now the mandate that healthcare workers be vaccinated is likely to aggravate the shortage of nurses and other healthcare professionals that already is causing serious disruption to the delivery of care throughout our state. And in Oklahoma, Attorney General John O'Connor's statement reads in part, the state of Oklahoma is pleased the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the states challenging the OSHA vaccine mandate on private businesses. Now, individuals who work in the private sector can make healthcare decisions for themselves and their families, as it should be. This is a major win for job creators and their employees. Coming up, an area police department announces changes to protocols as COVID cases rise among officers. Plus, several Missouri police chiefs file a lawsuit against the state, asking for clarification on a law regarding gun rights. The Parsons, Kansas Police Department is making changes to its protocols for the next month. When it comes to cold calls and crimes against property without evidence, officers will now take those reports over the phone when possible, rather than in person. Also, VIN inspections and fingerprinting for licensing are suspended for the next 30 days. Officials say the changes are a result of rising COVID cases within the department. A Nevada, Missouri business owner admits failing to pay taxes on nearly $1.5 million of income. 53-year-old Kevin Morrow pleads guilty to filing a false tax return. Morrow omitted nearly $1.5 million in income from the federal income tax returns he filed from 2014 through 2016. During that time, Morrow operated Morrow Show Steers, a cattle sale business. Under federal statutes, Morrow could get up to 3 years in federal prison without parole. Legal action is targeting Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act. SAPA declares federal laws that could restrict gun ownership among law-abiding Missourians as invalid. It also allows law enforcement departments to be fined if they enforce a federal law deemed invalid under SAPA. Well, now several Missouri police chiefs are lending their names to an effort to clarify that law. Kathy Sweeney reports.
Sometimes you just gotta, as the old saying goes, stand up and testify.
That's why Poplar Bluff Police Chief Danny Whiteley added his name to the latest legal effort to clarify the Second Amendment Preservation Act.
When you have multiple law enforcement agencies that say it needs to be fixed, they need to pay attention to it.
The SAPA legislation is unclear, and right now there's a lot of questions in law enforcement, and it has really had a dampening effect on law enforcement over the last few months.
Whiteley and Charleston's Robert Hearns joined dozens of other police chiefs in filing court documents to support the lawsuit filed January 5th in Jefferson County Court. It seeks to clarify the language in SAPA to allow local departments to continue working with federal agencies to target violent criminals and the weapons they use, while still protecting the gun rights of law-abiding Missourians.
Mo chiefs asked if I would participate in this, and I said yes, without even really thinking about it, because my responsibility is to my community.
Sykeston DPS Chief James McMillan says he's also concerned about SAPA's $50,000 fine and its impact on morale. Meantime, he's not willing to take the chance of trying to send gun cases to federal court to seek longer sentences.
If you charge them through the state for these gun crimes, you're talking about the difference of months versus years.
Now, these chiefs are dedicated to working on a solution in 2022 that better targets community safety.
We're looking for answers to some basic questions about what we can do with the feds, how they can help us, we can help them.
We're putting the public in danger, we're putting officers in danger, and it needs to be fixed.
Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt has not yet commented on that lawsuit. A little bit later, we're going to hear from the Chiefs' offensive coordinator ahead of the team's playoff matchup against Pittsburgh.
Plus, rain and snow chances increasing as we head toward the weekend. We're going to check that out coming up.
KOA.
Well, it turned out to be a great Thursday for us today. Temperature is fantastic, lower 60s for our highs, almost 20 degrees above our average high for this time of the year. And we're still looking pretty good out there right now, even though the sun is set. Most of us are kind of in that 50 to about 53 degree range. We are going to drop back into the mid 30s tonight, but really not too bad. Here's 7th. Here's range line. Currently outside sitting at 53, northerly winds 5 to 10, humidity at 48%. Through the evening hours, we're going to slide back through the 40s into the 30s. I think most of us about 36, 37 degrees as you wake up tomorrow morning. We've had pretty much clear skies all day long. Clouds are starting to increase just back to our north and to our west. You can see them across Kansas, parts of Nebraska, into the Dakotas. Here's the beginnings of our next storm system, which is brewing and is going to slide down through the Dakotas, Nebraska, and then right into the 4-state area by the time we head into tomorrow night. Until then, we look okay. Clouds thicken tonight, upper 30s. Cloudy skies all day long for us tomorrow, but temperature is still pretty good. I think most of us will go into the mid 50s. Starting at 38, 52 by noon, high temp at 56, southerly winds, they're going to be light at about 5 to 10. As we go through tomorrow evening, rain will start to increase, especially after 9 p.m. So we're going to drop back into the 40s. Rain increases. Look at the snow building in on the Kansas side. Let's go after midnight. Everybody switches over to a very wet snow. So this is about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Light snow continues into Saturday morning. Let's go through the morning hours. Then this back band will kind of rotate through as we go into Saturday. So very light snow Saturday morning, and then it will pick up again late morning into the early afternoon hours. Here's 3 p.m., and then I think most of this will be gone by 6 or 7 p.m. in the evening. Here's what's going to help us out. Snow's not going to be very heavy. We'll get moderate bursts, but it's not going to be extremely heavy. Most of the event, temperatures are going to be sitting near freezing. So we're going to get a lot of melting as the snow comes down, and usually with a very wet snow, the roads just get kind of slushy, but there are going to be some slick spots out there. But because of the temperatures, the ground, we went into the 60s today, that will hold back some of those snowfall amounts. On the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Once you get toward the state line, including Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, all through the metro, Miami, Neosho, all the way down into northwestern Arkansas, 1 upwards to 3 inches. If it can come down heavy enough, we'll be closer to that 3-inch amount. Off to our east, if you're traveling Springfield, Branson points east, upwards of 1/2 foot of snow. So that's where the heaviest snow is going to be across south central, southeastern parts of Missouri. 56 tomorrow, 33 on Saturday, snow, down to 16 Saturday night, and then Sunday, high of only 37 degrees. So a cold, chilly, kind of nasty weekend.
Yeah, but maybe people get out the toboggan for a little while, maybe on early Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before they go in to watch some football.
There you go.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, Pitt State Gorillas and Missouri Southern Lions are both back on the basketball court action tonight. And the Kansas City Chiefs head into the playoffs with a little uncertainty at running back. Jacob Leonard joins us with details next.
Both Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern are back on the floor tonight at home in MIAA League play. The Gorillas host a doubleheader this evening against Emporia State. On the women's side, Pitt State trying to avoid a three-game losing streak and pick up their first win of 2022. That game already started with the Gorillas up 46-29 at halftime. Tristan Gegg has 11 points. Aaron Davis, Corinna Gerber, and Sydney Crane each have 8. As for the PSU men, their game against the Hornets will get started shortly after the women's game finishes up. Pitt State just 4-10 this season, but 3 of those wins have been against league opponents. They're 3-5 in the MIAA. Tip-off for that one will be at about 7:30. The Missouri Southern Lions welcome in the Washburn Ichabods this evening. The Southern women are aiming for back-to-back wins after beating Northeastern State just 2 days ago. Now, the Lions are 8-5, including a 5-3 mark in the MIAA coming into the night. Right now, they're leading 28-19 at halftime. Amaya Johns has a team-high 9 points at the break. After that wraps up, the Southern men face the Ichabods at about 7:30. And the Lions won their first game of 2022 last time out, beating Northeastern State by 1 on Tuesday. We're going to have highlights from all of these games right here tonight at 10. Former Pittsburgh State wide receiver John Brown has a new home in the NFL. The Buccaneers signed the former PSU All-American to their practice squad today. Brown, who has been in the league for 8 years, is reunited with head coach Bruce Arians, who was Arizona's head coach when they drafted Brown in the third round of the draft in 2014. Now, while it's good news for one local standout, unfortunately it's bad news for another. To make room for Brown on the practice squad, the Buccaneers released running back Darwin Thompson. Thompson is a former NEO Golden Norseman and was a 6th-round pick by the Chiefs in 2019. He is now a free agent. And in the NFC, the Kansas City Chiefs kick off the playoffs this weekend. The Chiefs host the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday night in the first round. And the Chiefs are heavily favored. By that, I mean they're 12.5-point favorites, which is the biggest spread ever in the wild card era. But it's not all smooth heading into the weekend. Running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire missed practice today. Darrell Williams was limited, so the backfield kind of up in the air right now.
My comfort level is where it always is, the next man is up. And the thing is Clyde is going to do everything he can to be out there this weekend. We're going to let the people take care of what they need to take care of. But on top of that, Greg Lewis is doing a heck of a job with those guys. And when given an opportunity, those guys have proven that they can rise to the challenge. So I expect our guys, regardless of who's out there playing, to go out there and play hard and play fast. But on top of that, to give us something productive to help us to secure a victory.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Benjamin Smith served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 45. The Ingleville, Kansas native was stationed in France, received a Purple Heart, and we salute Private First Class Benjamin Smith, a four-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes. We have more than 3,000 of them in our database. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime, and to do either, all you have to do is click on the link on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Jordan Abbey joins us now with a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Tonight at 9, we're going to have more reaction to the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling on President Biden's vaccination requirements. Also, a local brewery getting creative to help some pets find a forever home. And there are new concerns about the upcoming Winter Olympics. That, of course, much more coming your way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Jordan, thanks. Hey, a badger is credited with digging up a treasure trove of ancient Roman coins. Archaeologists in Spain say more than 200 coins dating from 2 to 400 AD had been hidden in a cave. A man exploring the cave says he found a nest that the badger had dug out of the earth, had a number of coins all around it. Excavators were called in and ended up recovering 209 coins, which are now being cleaned for a local display. The head of the project says the discovery sheds light on the fall of the Roman Empire and related migrations into northern Spain. No word on how the badger feels about all of this, but my goodness. He builds his home and then he's robbed. Probably doesn't even get a cut of the loot.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Hey, the weather okay for the moment, but snow coming eventually.
Yeah, tonight looks fine. Tomorrow looks good. We aren't going to see the sun. It's going to be cloudy, but 56. Rain increases tomorrow night. Snow increases after midnight. Periods of snow throughout the daytime hours on Saturday.
Final sports note.
So we do this every year with the Chiefs right about this time, but offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, of course, going to be a hot name for NFL head coaching jobs. We're going to hear about that from him tonight at 10.
Surely, eventually, he will get that job.
You would think, man. He's so good at the microphone all the time.
Yeah, and good on offense as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is provided by